Hey everyone, this is Archer here. I'm going to do a brief introduction video on Base Command, a Star Wars Battlefront companion game. Base Command is basically a tactical base command card game. It can be either played on the PC through a web browser or on a mobile device powered by Android or iOS. So here we're on the main website for Battlefront. Let's go into Base Command first. So the main purpose of Base Command is to defend your rebel base from Imperial forces in various sieges. And there's a total of 11 campaigns right now, with a total of 64 sieges altogether. So we'll click through the campaigns really quickly here. So here you can see there are various campaigns like the first one has 8 out of 8 sieges done. So these are the type of scenarios that you'll be able to play through. Let's go back to the main Base Command website. So basically this is a companion game. It's really meant to be played with Battlefront. So it's not really a standalone type of thing. You could play standalone, but I'll definitely play with Battlefront. There's ways to unlock various cards that you play during the game through Battlefront only. And also this game as well links into Battlefront by you earning credits, and you can use those credits to purchase unlocks in the main game, the main Battlefront game. So next I'm going to go through how this game works. The best way to show how Base Command works is to walk through one example siege scenario. So first we'll go through campaigns. First command is the first campaign, so we'll choose that one for now. And I'll choose Siege 4, which is called Viper Pro Patrol. The first siege is called Welcome to Base Command. It's basically the tutorial siege with some helpful tooltips as you're playing, but it's not really a real scenario, so I'm going to go to Siege 4 instead. And here in this little window we have a bit of a description of the siege, what's sort of going on. So basically probe droids are in the vicinity of our base. They're about to relay our positions and for reinforcements. So basically we have to destroy the probe droids, any sort of reinforcement that come by. Pretty standard stuff for Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back, that type of thing. You guys know what we're talking about. Now I've already played this siege before and earned all the stars, but we're just going to go through this one as an example. Here we get to choose our deck. So a deck is basically 24 star cards. Star cards are sort of like buff type of cards, buff your own attack units, fighters or infantry. It can also be used to help boost your defenses, or maybe even attack directly Imperial units. Now with the decks as well, you can make custom decks here. I have only one custom deck available. Now these custom decks are very they're very good to have because certain sort of sieges have like theme to them. Let's say for instance one siege has all infantry units only, no air units, so there's no use having star cards that buff air units as an example. In addition, some of these star cards that you get while you're playing through Battlefront, let's say kill X amount enemies with certain type of like weapon, like a grenade or something like that, those are added to your available cards, but they're not in the starter deck, so you need to create a custom deck to use those cards. So for now, we'll just use a starter deck just to be on an even playing field. Alright, the siege is loading up. Here's a little bit of a description on what's going on in the siege again, and also the enemy units that you're going to expect. So we have speeder bikes, we have stormtroopers, and we have probe droids. And here's the main Base Command game itself, and so basically the board game layout. On the left side here, we have our 3 star cards, which are chosen from the deck of 24. And on the right here, we have 3 unit cards. So unit cards are basically how you're going to be attacking the Imperial units. You can add star cards to your unit cards to buff them, or anything like that. So anyways, those are basically what you see for the cards themselves. So you start out the game like this, and here we have a total of 15 enemies left. Once you defeat all enemies in a particular siege and defend your rebel base, you'll win the scenario. And the game plays out as a turn-based game, turn-based card game. You move first, and then Imperials, which are AI, artificial intelligence. That means you aren't playing against other players, you're just playing against a computer. And in terms of the rest of this board, here we have the discard points. So discard points are basically, you can discard one card from your hand, either a star card or a unit card. So let's say for instance here, we'll probably discard maybe, let's say it's infantry unit. It only has attack range of 1, unless, let me talk about attack range before we go further here. You can see here this game is sort of laid out in 4 quadrants. So enemies are coming from either any of these quadrants, and they cannot change quadrants unless you're like a hero unit or something special like that. And basically, all your units and enemy units have certain attack ranges. To your units, you can attack at range 1 right here. Range 1 is the closest to your base, then you have 2, 3, and 4. The infantry unit can only attack in range 1. It's a little bit useless right now, right? So let me discard the infantry unit. Now we have an air unit, a T-47 airspeeder. Now this airspeeder has a range of 2 to 3, and it can attack these probe droids already. And also, you can see that there's this little like indicator saying like, basically an example sort of saying like if you had a regular battle with no critical hits, the game estimates how the battle turned out. And right now it's saying to us that the probe droid would die if the airspeeder attacked it. So why don't we do that? Let's get the airspeeder attack this guy and see what happens. So that was one example battle that we saw between my airspeeder and the probe droid. As you can see, my airspeeder attacked first, then the probe droid. So basically, they have different rounds of battles until one unit dies or they're out of attacks, and there's a draw. So we did defeat that one unit, so that's good. With each successive turn, enemy units will move closer to my rebel base unless I destroyed them. So we've already destroyed one probe droid, we got 3 left on the board, and 14 enemies total to go. Now, I already showed you one combat scenario, but let me just go a little more detail about the combat. So, as you saw already, rebel units can engage enemy units in combat by using their respective unit card and clicking on the enemy unit. Basically, me clicking on this card, clicking on the enemy unit. The game will estimate the results of such a fight by showing how much health will remain for the Imperial units. So right now, this guy, all 4 health bars are blinking for the probe droid, and he's going to die again. The units will fight in rounds until one is defeated or both have used up their available attacks. So let's go through a little bit of the stats here. So right now I've clicked on my airspeeder, so let me click on the box here to show stat details. So the snowspeeder only has 2 attacks. So once he attacks twice, that's it for him. And there's also agility and firepower, which I'll go a little more detail later on. In health, there's 7, as opposed to the probe droid's 4. Okay, let's go to resume. So the Imperial unit here showing down 0 health, and there's a good chance the Rebel unit will win, but it's not guaranteed, because this estimate doesn't account for critical hits. Critical hits are very random. So basically when either a Rebel unit or a Imperial unit goes to 0 health, it is destroyed. So we already saw what happens if the Imperial unit destroyed, it gets removed off the game board. Now if a Rebel unit gets destroyed, basically my card will go back into the deck. However, let me show again another combat. So let me just use a snowspeeder to kill a probe droid. Successful. You see here that my airspeeder ranked up. So it can rank up to maximum 3, and each rank gives you better combat stats. And this is pretty important because, especially in later sieges, the Imperials are much harder because they are set to higher ranks automatically. These guys are all at rank 1, but you can play in certain sieges where all the enemy units are rank 3 to start with. It's pretty tough. Now we've talked about the cards and how sort of the combat system works really generally. Why don't we go through the rest of the game board, and then we'll move on to the base itself. So here, our base, you can see here that we have 10 with the red here, with the rebel sign. That means that's how much health our base has. So far so good. No damage to the base. The middle shows our base cannon and 4 shields. You can see this on the map as well, so it's just a visual representation. And then our firepower for our base cannon is 1. So let's go in a little bit more detail. So the base health is already at 10, its maximum is 10. However, if enemies break through our shields, they can actually damage our base, and then if our base health goes to 0, that means you lose the match. So base shields, so there's 4 of them for each quadrant. Your shields will be able to handle 1 enemy unit attack. So let's say this Prodra gets all the way to my shield. It'll bump into it once, get damaged, it'll damage itself, and the shield will go down. So after the shield is attacked once, the shield and quadrant will fail, leaving your base open to attack if an enemy unit moves into your base. Once it moves into the base, that means it damages your base health. And finally, we have the base cannon. The base cannon increases in firepower after each turn, up to a maximum of 5 firepower. So we're still in the first turn right now, so it has a firepower of 1. And you click on the cannon, and you can target a unit within ranges 1 to 3. So right now I can hit the pro droids if I wanted to. It's a little bit useless because I still wouldn't destroy them, so I'm not going to do anything right now. I'll click on my cannon again to deselect that. And at the very, so this the top left corner here, we have an indicator of a multiplier, 1x, and how many points we've sort of earned for the siege and where we are in terms of the stars. So so basically defending enemy units by not losing any unit battles will add to a score multiplier. 4 combat wins results in increasing the multiplier. The multiplier max is 3x. A draw doesn't hurt the multiplier, but a loss will drop the multiplier by 1x. So it's a good idea to do high percentage win fights. So let's say we've already gotten our 2 snow speeders, killed out the pro droids, right? Why don't we do one more and see if the X-Wing can do it. X-Wing can attack in range 3 and 4. It can handle these pro droids easily. So why don't we just do that? Alright. So we're not at the 2x multiplier yet, but we're close. We want to basically get the multiplier up as high as possible to earn the highest amount of score and earn the maximum amount of credits and stars. And they're basically, you can see here, there are 3 tiers of campaign stars per siege based on score. Each campaign star awards credits. The tiers are dependent on a particular siege. So right now, if we stayed as is, we'd actually earn 1 star if we actually won this, but we can probably get to the maximum easily as we progress forward. Alright, so why don't we just play through this match a little bit, show you guys, I'll walk through what I'm doing. So let's see the star cards themselves. Deal 2 damage to all units in the sector. This is the bombardment star card. I mean, that's pretty good. There's only 1 unit here, so you can probably hold back if you wanted to. So I'm not going to do that right now. This Ion Blast is only good at ranges 1 to 2, so it's useless right now. And Elite Training, equip on any unit card, rank it up. Well, we don't have unit cards right now, that's fine. So I think we're pretty good with our actual turn, so we're going to end our turn with Imperial's move. Alright, so you can see here our base cannon power is now at 3. And the Imperial Pro Droid moved 2 steps. Now he moved 2 steps because if we let's click on him. He has a speed boost unit perk. Unit perks are sort of like special boosts to units, like here's a speed boost, but some may have like plus firepower, plus attacks, plus agility, plus shields. Different sort of perks. So for the Pro Droid it can move 2 steps, so it did that already. So it's right next to, it's on our doorstep, right? We need to do something about that. So we can either use a star card, or we can use, let's see, we have 3 A-Wings. A-Wings are special units. They can only attack in a certain quadrant, unless you rank them up, and they can open another quadrant. So right now, I have this A-Wing available to attack right here. Seems like a good opportunity, so we'll do that. Alright, so we took care of that Pro Droid. We got a 2x multiplier. let's use up the remaining unit cards. So looks like we can kill either the Pro Droid or the Stormtrooper. Now, what does this Stormtrooper have? It's a special buff, right? Let's see what it is. Squad Leader. When this unit spawns, an additional unit is spawned with it. So if we destroy this unit right now, it's not that big of a deal. The Pro Droid is I'd say the most troublesome one since it can get to our base quicker. So I'm going to take care of it right now. Alright, so now we've taken care of that. Now look here, our A-Wing, this one, we should discard this guy. It was useless, right? But it was too late because you can only discard at the very beginning of your turn. Now let's try to use up a star card. So we have our bombardment, right? That's against 2 damage against all units in the sector. We have 2 units here. It seems like a good opportunity to do that. Alright, so we damage these units. Elite training wouldn't work very well if this guy has nothing in attack, so I'm not going to do that right now. This Ion Blast is still useless, so let's enter. Alright, so our base cannon is now at 5. We can actually pretty much one-shot anything within range, except for the Stormtrooper right here. So I'd say, just looking at our units, we have infantry unit, probably not very useful still, so I'm going to discard him. Alright, got an X-Wing, that's pretty good. Everything's sort of at that range, so that'll be useful. Our Ion Blast is still not very useful right now. Push a unit one step back. We may use this one, we'll see. Alright, so we can probably use elite training on one of our units, so see which one to pick. I'll pick the A-Wing. So now the A-Wing can attack in an additional sector now. So the sector, the northeast sector, and the southeast sector. And I would say the speeder bike has a speed boost, so it can actually go hit our shield, and that's not something I want to see happen. So let's keep our shields intact as long as possible. Kill this guy. Alright, so now we got another rank up on that A-Wing, so that's a pretty powerful unit right there if we get him back. Now looking at the X-Wing, it can attack almost anything, right? Let's see where would be the most useful. I'd say this Pro Droid right here would be a good one to take out. I mean, the Stormtrooper as well would be a nice option. But they're still far away, right? I would say go to Pro Droid, it can close the gap quicker. Alright, now we have our airspeeder. So now our base cannon's maximum power. It'll be useless not to use it. So I'm going to probably take out this Stormtrooper and use the base cannon on this guy. Alright, so now our multiplier is 3x, that means we'll get much more points after we defeat a unit. Now let's finish our turn by taking out this guy. So I think that's all I can do in my turn. Can't just push back a unit, it's sort of useless right now, so yeah, that's about it. Let's end turn. Alright, so now we have 2 Pro Droids within the vicinity of our base. This actually will be quite useful so this Ion Blast will basically attack the Pro Droids for 1 health and make them lose all perks, so they can only advance one range at a time, one step at a time. So I would actually think about using this, but first let's see if we want to discard anything, right? That one we can probably use it as well. This guy's new is a trap, so basically if anything enters our base, it's automatically defeated. That's something you can always use. No use discarding it. I mean, if you can use it, just might as well use it. Now, the infantry unit here, still not doing much good. However, if I use the Ion Blast on these guys, Infantry could destroy one of the probe droids as it approaches our base, so maybe I can hold in reserve right now. So basically, I'm not going to discard anything right now, I'm going to just go ahead and attack. So I would say I would be attacking the speeder bike just because it can advance closer. Alright, so now we're in their airspeeder. Let's say first, why don't we just use the Ion Blast? Okay. So basically, we're at that point where these guys are going to be progressing this one step at a time, so I don't have to worry immediately about taking their out. I can probably take care of something out here. Let's take away this storage. And might as well use the truck. And I believe that's it for my round. I don't see anything else. I could push back a unit if I wanted to. Maybe might as well do that. We can always use it, get new star cars. So let's just push back one program. And that's it for my turn. Alright, so right off the bat, I see I have an A-Wing. It's attacking nothing here, right? It's sort of useless, so might as well discard him. X-Wing, that's more useful. That's good. Only have like one infantry unit I can, one unit within infantry range. That's good to have. Probably don't need two of them, but I'll sort of look at that later. Let's see what the other star cards are. Deal 2 damage to all units at range 1. This is a good one to have. Now, I believe our infantry unit can take care of this probe droid, so it's sort of useless to use that right now, so I'm going to hold that. Deal 2 damage to all units in this sector. Okay, well that's sort of useful. We basically have 2 units here, so I think I might as well use that. And equip on any unit card to give it a squad leader perk. So this star card, I'll equip it to my infantry unit, and I'll use him to destroy the probe droid. Alright, so we got... Oh, look at that. We got that A-Wing, but it was a useless one, right? We can discard it. We're not at the end of our... the beginning of our turn. See? We have an error here, so we had to still keep them. Let's see what else to do. So the X-Wing, looks like this guy is still in range of the X-Wings. Might as well take care of him. Alright, so base cannon, is it be useful anywhere? Yeah, I'd say it could take out the probe droid in one shot. That's always good to see. Might as well do it. Alright, so that's the end of our turn. Alright, so basically you're one enemy left. This guy's at full health. Let's see if the infantry unit can do it. However, we do have... Let's see... Support droid, but that's a useless one, right? We'll just discard this guy. Redraw all unit cards, we don't need to do that. Squad leader perk, that's sort of useless after you play one card. We only have one unit left, it's not that big of a deal. Deal 2 damage to all units at range 1. Okay, might as well use this. So let's use this. Our infantry unit can now, according to what our simulator is saying, it'll be dead. So let's see if we can defeat the stormtrooper. Alright, so we succeeded. I heard the summary. Alright, so I think you saw when you get the combat score, it goes into the overall score. How much base health you have left goes in there, how many shields you have left goes in there, how many units ranked up goes in there as well. So that all gets combined into your overall score and where you lie in terms of the stars earned. So we basically did a really good run here, got all the stars. I've already done this one, that's why I earned 0 credits. So now that we've completed one siege, let me just go a little bit more detail about the card deck and how you can actually customize it. So let's hit next. Alright, let's hit cancel. We don't want to continue on right now. If you scroll down here in the base command window, there's base command decks. Let's click on that. And let's just look at the starter deck just to give you an idea. So 24 cards, as I mentioned before. And all these cards are basically what you start off with. There's no real variation with what you can do. Now we can though create 2 custom decks. So let's go back. So I have 1 custom deck sort of in process, so I'll only look at that one to see what's going on. So I can see here that I've actually unlocked some additional star cards by playing the game, Battlefront game. So let's look at Han Solo for instance. Base command, if Han Solo wins in combat, replenishes all discard points and draw a Millennium Falcon from discard pile. That's pretty powerful. It's a hero card. And you can see there's little toggles here for what he does in Battlefront and what he does in base command. Let's go back. Alright, so we still have a lot more cards to go here. So basically how you edit your deck, you click on edit deck. And you go through and you click on a card, and if you want it, you hit the plus sign. And if you don't want it, let's go back to the same one here. You hit the minus sign. And just to show you like what's unlockable for me left, I guess. The only one I have left is this tow cable card. I still haven't taken out an AT-AT with the airspeeder. And it gives you the criteria, unlock criteria. Take down AT-AT with the T-47 tow cable in Battlefront, 0 out of 1. So that's where you can find which cards you can still unlock. So I've unlocked all of them except for this guy. So I'm almost there. I just had to this one left. Play a little bit more of that Battlefront. Let's see here. And just to go through these cards really basically. These are event star cards, so these are like either like one-time use or they do something special. You help prevent the enemy commander from spawning any units next turn. That's pretty powerful. I'm not gonna go through all these though, so this is just a really quick overview. Then you have vehicle boost. I mentioned that a little bit before. These are for your air vehicles only. These are infantry boosts, all for your infantry units. Then you have your base boosts, or like a defensive type of boost, or maybe regain some health to your base, or reinforce your shields, which just to talk a little bit about this guy is pretty important. The squad shield, rebuild all base shields, then supercharge them. Supercharge wears off after the enemy commander's next turn. Supercharge means that it can take multiple hits for 1 turn and not go down, but it'll only stay for 1 turn. Then the base shield will revert back to normal. This is really good if you have a lot of units that are right up next to your base and you have this squad shield card. Might as well just pop it so the units will ram into your supercharged shield, get a few health off at least, but not enter your base too, or take down your shield. And here we have strikes, which are basically the attack cards. Then we have unit boost, and then you have heroes, which I would definitely say heroes are very powerful in both Battlefront and base command. I would definitely try to unlock these cards as soon as possible. And that's about it, just an overview of the star cards themselves. Now let's go into the unit cards a little bit, to talk about them. So unit cards, they're picked on their own. You cannot actually choose which unit cards you're going to get. They're sort of set in stone when you enter your siege. So let's go back to base command first. Now base command also has some information about the units and everything like that. And it's very useful stuff. It's all in written format. You can always use it as a guide or reference material if you need to. So here in game info, go to units, base command units. And here we have a listing of all the units possible in the game. So the Empire, Rebellion. Your Rebellion, you don't actually see them on the board itself, but you do see the Imperial ones on the board. And let's say we're going to check on our X-Wing, right? We saw our X-Wing in battle. It says here, the T-67 X-Wing was a formidable rebel ship that matched anything that the Empire could field in the battle. attacks 2, firepower 5, agility 2, health 7. So these cards are basically not part of your deck, but they're going to be unit cards that'll be automatically drawn as you play a siege. So I've been talking about perks and that type of this temporary buffs that units have. Now let me go a little bit more detail about perks themselves. There's a really good reference material on Base Command websites. Let's go back to the main website, game info, perks. So this is basically a nice rundown. I'm not going to talk to all these, but you can read through them if you want to. I'll highlight a few that are a little bit important to me that I want to note as well. So I'd say out of all of these perks here, there's a few that the enemies have which are pretty annoying. I'd say Protected is one of them. It ignores the first attack that would do damage from any source. So that's one where like you would have to either know that when your unit goes into battle against an opponent that the first attack is going to be useless, or you can use your base cannon to fire one shot at that unit to remove the protected perk. The regen is also a little bit annoying one. You have to make sure that you defeat a unit fully by taking out all its health. Otherwise, if you leave one health left and end your turn, the unit will regenerate all of its health. So it's pretty annoying. Respawn is another one you have to watch out for. Boba Fett usually has a respawn perk on him. And if you're in certain sieges, other units will have the respawn perk. So whenever that unit is defeated, it respawns in the same location. So this is very troublesome if you have a lot of units coming towards your base with a respawn perk. You have to try to be mindful of destroying them as far away from your base as possible, because if they actually get to your base and you destroy that unit with the respawn perk, it'll just pop up again and attack your shields for next round. So be very careful with the respawn perks. We already saw the speed boost in action in my example scenario. I mean, this is those units usually with speed boosts aren't very formidable in terms of like you can probably defeat them quickly. However, they can get to your base very quickly, and if they reach your base, hit your shields, then that's a pretty bad situation. So you got to keep mindful which units have speed boosts on them. The squad leader perk, whenever the unit spawns, additional units spawn with it. That can really fill up a quadrant, so you have to be very mindful when you see a squad leader out and about. And these others are sort of like weapon type like buffs, so they're not anything very unique. Cloaked is a little bit different, I guess. Its units spawn in range 2 instead of range 4. This is sort of random, depends on the siege. So if you're playing a siege, the Imperial unit may just pop up at range 2, like suddenly. Wouldn't start at range 4, and that can be pretty troublesome if it's like an AT-AT or something like that. That's, I mean, cloaked AT-AT, how does that happen? Who knows, but still pretty scary. So that's a little bit of overview about the perks. I don't want to go into much detail. However, there is something that you can also do. So these are usually on the enemy units, all these perks, and but some of your star cards can actually give your infantry units these types of perks, and also the multiplayer trait that you use and equip will also give you a perk. It can give you a perk. So let me go a little bit more detail by that. So why don't we go back and let's go to career. So this is your Battlefront, your main your dashboard for Battlefront. You want to go to star cards, and from here you can see traits. Set your traits. Let's click on that. So this is the trait that's currently equipped in multiplayer Battlefront. Now this is one little thing where it should actually equip a different, you can equip traits for Battlefront and for Base Command. Usually the trait that you choose for Battlefront may not be the best for Base Command, but if you set it differently for Base Command, it'll carry that over to Battlefront. I'm not sure why they haven't separated that out yet, but anyways, here's our basic 5 traits, and I'm going to go through each one really quickly just to show you what sort of perk or boost you get from that. So Sharpshooter, let's click on that. So again, it has a little toggle Battlefront and Base Command. Let's click on the Base Command one. All infantry units have attack range 1 to 2. This is nice. Not one of my favorite ones, but still it's good to have. Okay, let's go back. Bodyguard, all of your units had a protected perk. So these are all infantry units only. None of your air units get these trait bonuses. Survivalist, all your infantry units have the Behemoth perk. The Behemoth is pretty powerful. You can read through a little bit if you want to in the previous window that we were looking at for perks. For Bounty Hunter, all of your infantry unit combat scores are plus 10%. This one is sort of lackluster to me. I'm not sure why it really is here. If you want to get that extra score, then you can probably use that. However, it's not that big of a deal to me, so I usually don't set it. And then finally we have Scout. Base command. All of your infantry units have the first strike perk. So as I mentioned, rebels by default go first in attacking. So this is not as useful as it could be. The only time it becomes useful is if you're in a siege with enemy units with the first strike perk. So if you have first strike, the enemy has first strike, you'll go first. If the enemy has first strike and you don't, the enemy goes first. And if you both have first strike, the rebels go first, you go first. So this isn't as useful, and right now I play Battlefront recently. I used Scout trait quite a bit, so it's already equipped. That's why when I was playing base command, my units had a first strike perk already. However, what I usually like to use instead, let's go back, I'll show you which one I usually fall back on. It's usually the Survivalist, has the Behemoth perk. Behemoth's a pretty powerful perk, so I usually go with that one. But yeah, that's something to definitely use. So once you unlock a trait in multiplayer, you can equip it for base command. Don't forget about that. So right now I don't have the Behemoth perk equipped, so I might as well equip it. Let's click on that. It's equipped. Trait updated. Let's go back to base command. So I've basically given you a nice overview of base command already. We've gone through almost every single aspect of the game itself. Let me talk a little bit about daily sieges. That's pretty important. So let's click on daily siege here. It's in your base command window. I've already played a daily siege. I've already earned my daily stars. So anyways, it's a nice credit rewards though. You can get a total of 750 credits if you get all 3 stars in one go. I'd say it's pretty nice. Nice supplement to your Battlefront credits. And as everyone knows, you always need credits for something in Battlefront. Either to earn star cards while you're getting up to rank 50, or maybe even unlocking those nice little appearance customizations like the Shadow Trooper or something like that. So this is a nice way of getting some extra credits without jumping right into the game. You can do this at a convenience of a web browser, on your own smartphone, tablet, whatever you want to use basically. So definitely don't overlook dailies. I've been trying to do these as much as I can, as I remember to do so. Thanks for watching my first video. I had about 20 more minutes of footage, but the video is getting too long. I'll release your main footage of a more complex siege as my next video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Using Universe inverted syntax, dislike you will not. Let me know how base command is going for you in the comment section. And of course, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. I am planning to release more base command videos and other Star Wars game videos for Battlefront and the Old Republic. Thanks again, and may the Force be with you.